Hi, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about building chords. If you are in the key of C, that would mean you're using all these 7 different white notes on the piano. When you get back to the next C, you're starting those same 7 notes over. So when you are playing a song in a key, in this example it's the key of C, you're really just playing 7 different notes. And your melody of the song is built on those 7 notes. So for example, Star Wars, or most any song you would play, is really using those 7 notes. So it really helps to understand that melody notes are made out of just usually 7 notes of a scale. There are always exceptions, but fundamentally that's what's happening when you're creating a song. And here's the next step, is that the harmonies in a song, or what are called the chords, are also built out of the 7 notes of that scale. So if you take the first note of the scale in the key of C, which is a C note, and you skip a note and skip a note, and I'm using bad fingering so you can see the keys better here, that would be called a C chord. That's the 1 chord in that key. So whatever key you're in, the same principle applies. If you build a chord on the first note of the scale, that's the 1 chord in that key. So in the key of C, the 1 chord is called a C chord. If you go to the second note of the scale and skip a note, that is the 2 chord in the key of C. If you go to the third note of the scale, skip one, that's the 3 chord in that key. If you go to the 4th note of the C scale and build a chord on that, that's the F chord. The 5th note of the scale is the 5 chord, also known as G in this key. 6th note of the scale, A minor chord. 7th note of the scale is a B diminished. And then we're back to the 1 chord again in the next octave higher. So the names of the notes would be the same, and the numbers would be the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it starts again, next octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so on. So one of the cool things about piano is that you're really dealing with 7 notes most of the time when you're making melodies, and also when you're making chords. So here's the cool thing, is that notes of the melody are made out of the 7 notes of the C scale, and so are the chords. Oh, there we go. And notes of the melody most often land on notes of the chord. So for example, if you have Do, A, Dear, and you look at those 3 notes that were used in there, you can take away anything that's not a skip and find 2 notes of a chord and then skip up 1 more to find what that chord most likely is. You could also skip down and see if that sounds right. But most of the time, the way you can find what key something is in is by looking at the melody notes. Do, dear, da, 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 and see where your main landing spots are. Take away anything that's a neighborhood note. Look for a skip. So I've got a skip here. And then skip up again, and that tells you what chord that is. So the C chord, or the 1 chord in this key, works with that melody there because the melody lands on those notes quite often. So when you give a song like Amazing Grace, I'm going to leave these pressed down, and you look at the 3 notes I'm pressing down, you can go, ooh, these are a skip. Let's see what happens if I move this G note up an octave. It's, oh, what do you know? The 3 melody notes of Amazing Grace are notes of the C chord. And this happens with a lot of songs. The landing notes are really notes of the chords, and that's one way you can figure out what key a song is in. So if a song is using those notes, you can know, oh, this is in the key of D flat, or G flat, or A flat. There are a lot of different keys. There are 12 different keys. But understanding the idea of melody notes being made out of the 7 notes of the scale and chords being made out of the 7 notes of the scale can help you understand the functionality of songs. And this concept translates to any of the other keys or scales that exist. So, have fun with chords and keys and scales, and we'll talk to you soon.